On the podcast today, we're going to have a bit of a chat about what it means, what we saw last week with what Facebook did to, intimidate the Australian government or to show its power to all the Facebook users in the world of what it's capable of. And I also want to talk about what if Facebook goes? What if Facebook is gone? What is that going to look like for your business? That's what we're chatting about on this very interesting podcast today. Hey, welcome to the Small Business Made Simple podcast, brought to you by socialmediaandmarketing.com.au. Being in business is never easy, but it can be simple, or at least simpler. Join me, your host Jen Donovan, every week where we focus on marketing, social media, and working towards simplifying your business. You with me? Let's do this.
Gonna dream it big, 'cause someone out there listening. Everyone's got a voice to give, and it's time I heard you whistling, 'cause there's no point at all, in dreaming small,
Why, hey there. Welcome to episode 112 of the Small Business Made Simple podcast. Thank you for coming. Thank you for lending me your ears. I know you have lots of choices, and I really do appreciate you making me one of them. I am, of course, the host, Jen. I'm a marketing thought leader, a digital strategist, and coach for small businesses, and basically just an all-round small business lover with pretty much one goal in life or one goal in business for you, and that is to make you make marketing a priority in your business. Because if you want to grow, you need to learn how to market what it is that you do or market your talent. It's that simple. It's not easy, but it is that simple. So, of course, that's my promise to you on the Small Business Made Simple podcast, is to help you learn how to market what it is that you do. But hey, before we get started today on this Facebook controversial type episode, can I ask you a little favour? It's a little bit cheeky, I know, but hey, it's my podcast, so I just thought that I would put it out there. One of the things that I really want to do in 2021 is more speaking, more hosting of workshops, whether that's via Zoom or in person, because oh my goodness, I miss doing them in person. I want to do more speaking. So I just wondered, as my beautiful listener, if you see, hear or know any organisations or local councils or businesses or business organisations that might like a speaker around social media and marketing and community building, then I'd love to have you let me know, and I'd love to connect with them. Or maybe you could drop my name to any organisation that you know or any organisers that you know. That'd be brilliant. Thanks a billion. And of course, in return, let me know what I can do for you. All right. But today on the podcast, I want to talk about Facebook. Social media in general, yes, but a little bit specifically Facebook first. You see, my Facebook business page went down last week amongst all the Australian media. I went down too. My feed was deleted. My business page was not. You could still go there, but there was nothing to see. Now, just on a bit of a side note, it did come back up, I think, on Tuesday of this week. So it is there, all back to normal, all looking rather perfect. But it's not those 4 days or those 5 days of no Facebook page that I really want to talk about today. It's everything else around it. For those of you in my world who have listened to many podcasts, read many blogs, or follow me on social media, all the points you'll hear in this podcast will probably sound a little bit familiar. It's just that you saw them in action last week when Facebook showed its power, its extraordinary power, with absolutely no notice and no one to pick up the phone and call to complain about it. So first up, full disclosure, I'm not exactly a Zuckerberg fan. It's not a rich thing, it's a monopoly thing. You see, I've studied law and economics long enough to not be a fan of monopolies in most industries. I don't think they are a good way for the world to work. So I guess, as his least fan, my thoughts are not necessarily complimentary around his business model. Let's start with my first point, his power, the power of Facebook. We have learned firsthand and seen firsthand the power over a platform that we rely on, albeit a little bit too much. No warning, no notice. Facebook literally has the power to turn you off at any stage. And although we knew this, in inverted commas, I don't think we actually really knew this. But now we do. We've seen it. So don't build empires on crown land. Basically, don't build buildings or don't build brands on land you don't own. My second point is a private company asserting its influence over a democratic society. Wrong on so many levels, just so many levels. And my third point, being all about supporting small businesses, but not really being all about supporting small businesses. Now, this one stung me last week more than normal. You see, my other business is called Spend With Us. It's a marketplace for rural and regional small businesses. Go and check it out if you haven't already. It's at all the W's, spendwithus.com.au. Just got a huge article in news.com.au. It was a fabulous article showcasing two of our sellers and their journey with Spend With Us and how our platform has helped them survive and grow their businesses. And although I knew their stories, it really did still make me tear up reading these particular stories. To think what started off as a single thought could have helped so much is really heartwarming for me. Now, the problem, I can't shout it from the rooftops. I can't link to it in news.com.au. I can't get the traction from it, the accolades and the engagement from it that I could have got normally if this article had have come out last Monday rather than last Wednesday. I can't shout about it or sing about it on Facebook. And that is where most of my assets around Spend With Us have been built. Obviously, I have a Facebook group with 307,000 people in it, so I wanted to tell them all about it. It was really bad timing and it really did hurt me last week. Of course, I'll put a link to the actual article in the show notes, the news.com.au one, so you can have a bit of a read if that tickles your fancy. In fact, between my two businesses, we had media attention from news.com.au, Smart Company, 9MSN, and ASPL Leadership, and a few more. And we couldn't share any of them on our on our Facebook pages. And yes, of course, we innovated and we diversified and we put them on our website and we linked to them that way. And we posted about them on other social media platforms, including our Facebook groups and our LinkedIn profiles and our LinkedIn business profiles and our Instagram, and of course we put it out through our newsletter, so we still got engagement and reach, but just not on our page. Business pages, I've said for a long time now, are like the white pages of yesteryear. If you haven't got one, then it's strange for the user. The user's thinking, why not? Why wouldn't you be on Facebook? But this decision changes that thought bubble. So Facebook is really, apparently, all about helping small businesses, but not if they try to position themselves as leaders, as experts in their field, or ambassadors to their brands, because the opportunity to use PR and media and repurpose it that way has actually been taken away from us. Now, it's not the end of the world, but it calls for innovation. Remember, there's only two things in business, marketing and innovation. The rest is just stuff. But also, how can you say you're supporting small business when really you're only supporting them how you see fit? Only via paid ads, because let's face it, traction on your Facebook business page has been in decline for many years unless you pay to play. Now, I must say, I had a little bit of a giggle at myself when my Facebook page was, or I lost the content on my Facebook page last week. I thought, well, Jen, you've been saying for years not to rely on social media to build your brand and talk to your prospects and customers, and here it is. Your page is gone, so there's no use complaining. You warned yourself. So that was a little bit of a chuckle that I had. And I did, however, quickly go and put some actions into place, especially around my groups. One of my groups that I had only had me as an admin and a couple of editors. So I quickly upgraded them to be admins as well, just in case. You just never know what might happen. And of course, we saw the power of what can happen as far as flicking a switch in Facebook land goes without warning. So I did actually go and put some plans in place just in case I was wiped off the entire platform. And perhaps that's a really good reminder for us all to go and check that. I thought that I had multiple admins on one of my groups, but as it turned out, I had one admin and multiple editors. So it was a really good reminder. So the question I ask often is, what would your business look like if you woke up tomorrow and your Facebook was gone? Perhaps you've heard me ask that before, because I ask it a lot, but now it seems more plausible, doesn't it? Because it happened last week to so many businesses and so many small businesses like mine. Hopefully they've all got theirs back, but it wasn't just the big media giants who went down. So you might be thinking, Jen, this lecture is all good, but what do I do about it? How can I diversify? How can I take people from social media to my email list? Which of course is the whole goal of social media, is to take them from social to your email list. So how do you go about doing that? Well, I'm so glad you asked, because I'm going to run you through a few little ideas which hopefully might give you a nudge to be thinking about your email list rather than building all your assets on platforms that you don't have control over. So here's some ideas on how you can take people from social media to an email list. You can have a simple opt-in. Perhaps it's on your website, a pop-up, or in your header. You can talk about your opt-in through your blog or in your email signature, like how many emails do you send every day? And of course, on your socials. You can put it in there as well. You can run a competition on social media to gather email addresses. So episode 11 was all about competitions to run on social media. There might be a few little subtle changes now around rules, but still a really good episode to go and back and have a listen to. So socialmediamarketing.com.au/11. You can find that there. You can create a freebie, a download, or a guide and create something of value that your customers would want, like my social media marketing, like my 108 social media content creations idea ebook. You can find that at all the W's, 108social.com.au, and you can exchange that freebie for an email address. You could give them an incentive to hand over their email address, like 20% off your first order or $20 off your first order. And one of the things that when I had a retail business that we would do is we would pick an odd number, like 13% off your first order or something like that, because giving odd numbers is not only good for strategy and makes people stop and look and listen more because it's an odd number, but you can also then trace exactly the journey of that customer, where they've come into your funnel, because you are only offering 13% off at that particular point. You don't offer it anywhere else, so you know that they came in via your pop-up because that's got 13% off on it. So, sometimes picking odd numbers can actually be a really good strategy as well and help you when you're looking at your lifetime value of your customer. You can link to joining your list, your freebie or your incentive on your socials, including your Facebook cover or part of questions. Perhaps if you have a Facebook group, you could make it one of the questions. Would you like a copy of X? If so, leave me your email address below. Of course, you can put it in your Instagram bio and your LinkedIn bio and your Clubhouse bio, what other platforms you're on, of course, as well, including Twitter, which I don't talk about very often. You can run a lead generation Facebook/Instagram ad and put some dollars behind your list building. And you can create content that's bonus content that just people on your list get. So creating that whole FOMO. If you aren't on the list, then you don't get this really cool bonus content. You can put a call to action button on your Facebook page that says sign up and, get them to sign up for a freebie or for your weekly newsletter. You can use Pinterest for traffic and leads to your website and get people to sign up there. And once you have people on your list, you can encourage them to actually forward and share your emails to other people in their world and grow your list and your audience that way too. Of course, there's hundreds of other ways that you can collect email addresses offline, but today we are just talking about taking people from online to offline. I've said it for years, the number one reason why you should be on social media is to get people off social media. So change your mindset around why you are using social media. Start building a list. Start putting together list building strategies so you don't get caught with your virtual pants down if you ever lose your social media accounts. Final thought for some of you are possibly now loving your feeds. There's no news sites. Your feed might be exactly the way you want it to be now. Now, I never really followed media sites on social media. They either put up headlines that were purely clickbait and gated content, especially rural newspapers. They were terrible for that. Gated content is such a bad strategy. And what I mean by that is gated content is basically you can't read more than 5 lines of the article unless you're a paying subscriber. It was just a ridiculous way to be using social media, in my opinion. And they did it for so many times. It really grated at me. In fact, over Christmas, and this is me hopping on my soapbox here, a farming friend of ours was tragically killed, and basically the whole district got in this one particular day and harvested his crops for him. There was like literally hundreds of people volunteered their time, their machinery, their diesel. They just all volunteered for a fellow farmer in respect and in memory of him. And the local newspapers headed out there and took photos and wrote an article, and then they gated it. You couldn't read it unless you paid. So everyone was volunteering their time except the paper. They were wanting to make money from the story. And I just thought that was poor form. Poor form. Anyway, I've been around and around in a big circle for this podcast, and there's some news here that obviously isn't new, but perhaps it's just more believable now. Now, I'm not against social media. Heck, I use it every single day to grow my business and interact with my audience, and I love doing that. But I also know what could happen, and now I believe that other people who perhaps thought that they knew it could happen have really stood up and gone, oh my gosh, this could really happen. Now, I didn't have to eat humble pie about my Facebook page going down, but it was still humbling to have my content removed from the platform. So I really ask you to sort of learn from these lessons that we've seen in the last couple of days or in the last week or so. It's what having a mentor in business is all about. Things happen in my business to my clients, and I share those experiences to help everyone else via my channels, including this one. We as humans, we are very adaptable, and we will adapt if Facebook becomes outdated or no longer serves us. A humble warning to all businesses, I think, including Zuckerberg's business. If you'd like to carry on this conversation with me, which I would love to do, please head into the Like-Minded Business Owners Facebook group. If you're not a member, join up, of course, but I'd love to continue this conversation with you. I know there was a lot of people who do podcasting and write blogs that were taken down as well as myself. So if that was you, I would be so interested to hear whether yours has come back up or whether you need some help and assistance to get that back up. This is all about sharing lessons and sharing ideas. And like I said, it's really about what being a mentor is all about in business. You know, sharing the experiences so that you don't have to go through the same pains or through the same experiences as what I do. But that's basically it for 112. I will be back next Thursday for 113, and I look forward to chatting with you then. Have a fabulous week. Have a fabulous week thinking about how you can take people from social media onto an email list, and I look forward to chatting with you in the Small Business Made Simple, in the Like-Minded Business Owners Facebook group around that. Of course, if you're enjoying this podcast, hit the subscribe button so you never miss an episode, and maybe share with another superstar business owner who's doing that daily grind, who would also like to learn a little bit more about making their business life simpler. And of course, connecting with other small business owners. A rating and a review would be super if you have time to do that. But whatever you do, remember, my small business peeps, as my opening song says, there is no point in dreaming small.
Tell it like you feel it, say it proud, be true, and let us see you for the star that you are. No point in dreaming small.